Welcome back to the CryptoWorld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now, both Bitcoin and Ethereum have confirmed a breakout above resistance, which sets up new technical price targets that I'll talk about in just a moment, so definitely stick around. First of all, starting off on the daily Bitcoin to US dollar chart, and right now, as we can see here, the price of Bitcoin has confirmed a breakout back above this previous line of support, which was briefly acting as resistance, sitting at approximately 27,500. And in fact, so far, we have already seen a confirmed daily candle close back above 27.5k, which is one bullish confirmation, confirming this breakout back to the upside. And on top of that, as I mentioned in my last video, we now have a confirmed bullish cross in the daily Bitcoin MACD, which is also another bullish confirmation signal. And on top of that, if you're looking at the daily Bitcoin RSI, this is now beginning to flip more bullish rather than just neutral or bearish like what we've seen over the last few weeks or so. Because obviously, as we can see here in the daily Bitcoin RSI, this is now forming higher lows and higher highs, which is a signal on the chart telling us that there's now some bullish momentum returning on the daily time frame. And so due to this, the larger bullish trend could be about to resume with another leg to the upside, especially if we confirm a breakout back above this area of resistance. Because obviously, if you're looking at the larger time frames like this daily chart or this 3-day Bitcoin chart, we can clearly see that the price of Bitcoin is currently in a larger multi-month long bullish trend, because we're essentially seeing the opposite price action to what we saw during 2022. Obviously, during 2022, the price of Bitcoin was in a larger bearish trend or a bear market because we were seeing significant lower highs and lower lows in the price of Bitcoin. But since November last year, half a year ago, the price of Bitcoin has been forming significant higher lows and higher highs here on the larger timeframes. And now, obviously, even during a larger bullish trend, we can have periods of bearish price action in the shorter term, just like how in a larger bearish trend, we can have periods of short-term bullish price action. And so that's essentially what we were seeing over the last 1 month or so, a period of shorter-term bearish price action, and more recently, a lot of neutral price action. But just over the last 1 to 2 days, we are now starting to see more bullish confirmation signals on the daily chart, actually telling us that the momentum is starting to flip more bullish again, pointing towards a continuation of this larger bullish trend. But obviously, with that being said, we still have levels of resistance like these previous highs at around 29 to 31,000, which once again should be acting as a bit of resistance where the price could potentially struggle at. And now, if you're zooming into the 8-hour Bitcoin to US dollar chart, we can see here that the price of Bitcoin over the last 1 day has had a clean breakout above this area of resistance, which was sitting in between around 27.3k to 27.7k. And so far, this breakout to the upside has been confirmed with multiple 8-hour candle closes, and we are potentially now seeing a retest, flipping this previous resistance into new support. And if that confirms with a strong bounce here, then obviously that will just be another bullish confirmation signal on the 8-hour time frame. And obviously, this is all happening after a confirmed bullish divergence on the 8-hour Bitcoin chart, which I mentioned all the way back down here, because clearly we have lower lows in the price of Bitcoin in the 8-hour candle closes, while the 8-hour Bitcoin RSI has confirmed higher lows. And so once again, that is simply a bullish divergence, which, by the way, you do actually use the candle closes, not the candle wicks, if you have the RSI using candle closes as the input data, which by default, it does use candle closes. And so due to all of this happening, due to all of these bullish confirmation signals on the 8-hour chart and the daily chart, right now in terms of the trend and momentum, at least in the shorter term here, I am leaning more bullish rather than just neutral or bearish, because obviously over the last 2 weeks or so, I have been leaning very neutral as the price has essentially been chopping around sideways. But we now have those bullish confirmation signals telling us that the momentum is simply looking more bullish than neutral or bearish in terms of the trend and momentum here on the 8-hour time frame. Ethereum. But with that being said, of course, it is worth pointing out that the 8-hour Bitcoin RSI did recently enter into overbought territories, which means the price has potentially gone too far to the upside too quickly, and we could be due to see a slight cool off from that bullish price action in the imminent short term, talking about the next day or so. And this could potentially give the price a good opportunity to come back down and retest this previous area of resistance to actually confirm it now as new support. And if that happens, if this level holds, then obviously that could help to reset the RSI, giving us more room to the upside later on, at the same time as further confirming the breakout to the upsides. And as for technical price targets, as I mentioned in my last video on the channel, if we confirm a breakout above this area right here, that would set up a new technical price target to the upside based on this being a double bottom pattern, also known as a W pattern. And now that we have seen a confirmed breakout above this area of resistance, that sets up a technical price target at approximately $29,000 per Bitcoin. And so obviously already the price of Bitcoin has moved pretty close to 29,000, but with that being said, from the current price of Bitcoin, we still have around a 3.5% to 4% move to the upside to go before we actually hit that 29K price target. And as for significant areas of resistance, I would essentially be paying attention to these previous highs and also the Fibonacci retracement tool. If you're bringing that out right here, we can see that we have this 50% retracement level at around 28.3K, acting as a bit of short-term resistance. And above 28.3K, we have the golden pocket area of resistance in between around 28.9K to 29.1K, which is right where that technical price target is. And so we should have a decent amount of resistance around that price area. And above that, we have the 78.6% Fibonacci level at approximately 29.8K to 29.9K, right where these previous highs are sitting at, also acting as resistance. And now just quickly mentioning this previous symmetrical triangle pattern here on the 8-hour Bitcoin chart, because obviously just over the last one day, the price of Bitcoin has now confirmed a breakout back above the invalidation point for this pattern and for this break to the downside. And so once again, as I've been saying almost every day since this initial break to the downside, if the price crosses back above that invalidation point, which was 27,500, then that would invalidate this break to the downside and invalidate this bearish price target. So right now, we do not have any active bearish price target, and instead, we actually have a confirmed bullish price target currently in play due to the fact that we have seen those bullish confirmation signals and the invalidation of this pattern. And so obviously, this is why it is important to always trade with a stop loss if you're trading these breakout movements. And so as I always say when I'm mentioning a trading strategy, is essentially with a break to the downside below support, once the position enters well enough into profits, personally, I always move my stop loss up to at least my entry price, which would be a break-even exit. But ideally, with basically every trade that I make, I aim to move my stop loss into some sort of profits, because then in that case, in a liquid market, in the worst case scenario, even if the price reverses, you are still securing profits if your stop loss is in profits. But anyway, now getting into the Ethereum part of this video, this is on the daily ETH to US dollar chart, and right now we are finally seeing a decent sized bounce from this area of support, sitting in between around 1770 to 1820. And on top of this area of support holding up strong over the last 1 to 2 weeks, we have also now started to see the daily Ethereum RSI flip more bullish rather than just neutral or bearish, as I also mentioned in my last video. And on top of that, we have recently seen a bullish cross in the daily Ethereum MACD, which has already been confirmed for around half a week to 1 week now. And what we're starting to see is a little bit more bullish momentum begin to now show up in the MACD and this RSI, which is pointing towards the potential continuation of this larger multi-month long bullish trend, which obviously I've been saying the price of ETH has been in since around the beginning of this year. But obviously during a larger bullish trend, it is possible to experience shorter term bearish price action like what we saw back here during February and March, and also like what we've seen over the last 1 month or so. But obviously, if you're looking at smaller time frames, these shorter term pullbacks actually look like more significant bearish trends on smaller time frames. And so this is why I always make an effort to explain the difference between this larger bullish trend and shorter term bearish trends, because obviously those two do not contradict each other. And now if you zoom into the 8-hour ETH to US dollar chart, we can see here that first of all, over the last 1 month or so, we have seen a shorter term bearish trend, which more recently over the last 1 to 2 weeks has been more of a neutral trend, basically a choppy sideways price range. But just over the last 1 day, we have now seen some bullish confirmation signals actually confirming, first of all, this breakout to the upside in the price, and also more bullish momentum starting to show up in the 8-hour Ethereum MACD. And on top of that, we are also now seeing more of an uptrend actually form here in the 8-hour Ethereum RSI with these higher lows and now higher highs. And so due to all of those bullish confirmation signals on this 8-hour chart, the trend is no longer just neutral or previously bearish. It is now leaning more bullish. But with that being said, even though the trend and momentum is starting to flip more bullish again in the short term, we of course still have these areas of resistance which we cannot forget about, where the price could potentially struggle at. And first of all, we have this area of resistance which has not changed since all the way back here, which is sitting in between around 1920 to 1950. And above that area of resistance, we have this level of resistance based on this previous high at around 2020. And if you're taking a look at the Fibonacci retracement tool from swing high to swing low, we have the golden pocket sitting in between around 1980 to 2000, which should be acting as an area of resistance. And also we have this 50% retracement level sitting at around 1930 as more of a specific level of resistance in the shorter term here. And as for support, I'll be paying attention to this previous area of resistance sitting in between around 1830 to 1860, now acting as new support in case we actually see a short-term retracement. And in fact, due to the 8-hour Ethereum RSI recently entering into overbought territories, we could be due to see a bit of a cool-off in the imminent short term, as in over the next 1 to 2 days or so, which basically means either some sideways price action or slight bearish price action, basically to help reset the RSI, which could give us some more room to the upside later on. So it could be something like this, for example. And now, if you want to know how to make a lot of money in crypto quite easily, then make sure to watch these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left shows you how to make money automatically using artificial intelligence, and the video in the bottom left shows you how to make money in a choppy sideways price range. But anyway, that's everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.